You're watching Taste of Victory.
Today we got a really cool, unique, and fun deck introduced here in Booster Set 11. One of my personal favorites as a reference to Digimon World 1 and just as a silly little deck, it is Sukamon. So we see KingSukamon is up on screen right now. The whole playstyle of this deck revolves around getting stuff in your trash and controlling your opponent's board by turning their Digimon into Sukamons and then either using that as a pseudo form of removal while protecting your guys because of the inheritable effects, or by just simply deleting them since they have been set to 3000 DP anyways with the other stuff in your deck. It's awesome. I really love it. It's a little bit slow. You don't have too much of a good synergy since this does rely on like old cards introduced from when the game was really brand new. Like we're talking set 1 and 2 cards are mixed into this deck because of the name Sukamon. So it's a little awkward in the beginning, but we're going to touch up the list to be able to get it going and buy some turns to set up your trash and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and start with our babies and work our way up to the top end. First up, we got 5 eggs. We got 4 of Upamon as our main egg. Inheritable, when attacking once per turn, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, trigger draw 1. In the super fast meta of BT11, you're probably going to get knocked down there pretty quickly and you're going to be recovering up. And usually when you recover up, you're probably only going to be recovering up to like 3 or 4, so you're just getting knocked back down anyways to get back into a draw range with Upamon. I think Cutemon is okay, but most of the time I feel like you're not going to open something you could actually Evo and raising, and you're just going to be hard slamming your 3-cost champions. Like hard slamming in this deck as a playstyle is very normal and very encouraged because they're only 3-cost champions. They all have on deletion effects or get you draws on play and stuff like that. So I think Cutemon just doesn't end up working up too well with the speed of this deck. So we're going to go out with Upamon, and then just to have a 5th egg, we're going to have Viximon. For the reasons I already described earlier, I don't really feel that good with the 5th egg of Cutemon, but instead we're going with Viximon. We have a lot of options, as we will see soon in this deck profile, to get a kind of security control light approach to this list to buy time, to fill up our trash and see our pieces, so being able to draw one when using many of our options that meet this condition of Viximon is awesome. Those are our 5 eggs. Let's move on to the rookies, of which we are running 9, which is a very low count by the standards of the Digimon TCG, but as mentioned earlier, we have a bunch of cheap cost champions who are going to be hard slamming more often than not. First up of our rookies is Salamon. This is yellow, 4 memory to hard slam, 2000 DP. On deletion, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, trigger recovery +1. So we have ways to recycle this. It usually just crashes itself into security and it recovers you stuff. It's awesome to keep you in the game while also being a free Digivolution at the beginning of the game. Then we have Cutemon, 3 memory to hard slam onto the field, 3000 DP, 0 memory to Digivolve from a level 2. Opponent's turn, your opponents can't reduce Digivolution costs. This is really cool into this format because it stops the Metal Greymon Digivolving over Geremon X, the one that reduces cost by every colors on the cards evolving into. It stops that in Black War Greymon. It stops Monstermon's cost reductions like the Gatomon. It has some pretty good targets in this format, so it's pretty nice to include as a 2 of there. But this card in particular is definitely going to be meta dependent, so maybe you could drop this for something else, maybe more options or more Salamons. Chuumon is going to be our final rookie. It is 3 memory to hard slam, 1 memory to Digivolve from a Black or Yellow level 2 Tama, and then 1000 DP. Your turn, when this Digimon will Digivolve into a Digimon card with Sukamon in its name, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. Pretty cool effect. It's awesome to be able to basically go for 1 memory into most of your champion lineup. However, effects like these don't work in the raising area unless specified, so it is a little bit slow considering it already costs 1 memory itself to Evo for a rookie. It's kind of awkward, but you just use it to your strength to choke your opponent and stuff like that in the early game. We have Inheritable on deletion. If this Digimon has Sukamon or Etemon in its name, you may play 1 Chuumon for your trash, suspend it without paying its cost. So that's pretty great to have some more floating and get stuff on the field. And most of the time it's going to get removed since it is coming in suspended and only has 1000 DP, but it forces your opponent to have an answer to it because otherwise you're going to have another chip or another guy to Digivolve over next turn ready. That wraps up all of our rookies. Let's go on to our level 4 champions. We are running 10 of these bad boys and they are all very poop based. We got Geremon, which is 3 memory to hard slam, 2 memory to Digivolve over a Black level 3, 2000 DP. This card is also treated as Nuemon. And does anyone else think this card looks a lot like Monster Blood 4, the cover of that Goosebumps book? On play, by trashing 1 card with Nuemon, Sukamon, Nanimon, or Etemon in its name from your hand, draw 2. So this is a pretty cool card because like it doesn't have too much synergy, but it's an on-play draw. Discard 1 to fill up your trash, and then draw 2 to replenish your hand size. So it's really important for filtering in the deck. It's useful. It has the Nuemon name, so it works with Cooties Kick, which is an option card we're going to be running later. Then we are getting to the namesake of the deck. First up is the old Sukamon, all the way from back in set 1, I believe it was for English. It has a play cost of hard slamming, 3 memory, 2 memory to Digivolve, 1000 DP. On deletion, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 Chuumon among them without paying its memory cost. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. So being able to potentially get a free guy on the field is fantastic. We are only running 4 of the new Chuumon. The old one is a memory blocker, which is pretty cool, so maybe you could justify running it. However, it digivolves over a black Digi-Egg, so with our bottom end being yellow because of the synergy with a lot of the other cards in the deck, it's kind of hard to justify it since you'll always be hard slamming that rookie. At least like our champions are champions when we hard slam them, you know? You already skipped a level. It's kind of hard to justify with the rookie, but if you can find the space, you know, maybe definitely consider that to have more targets for Chuumon to get out for free. Then we have the new Sukamon introduced in this set. 3 memory to hard slam, 1000 DP, 2 to digivolve from a black or yellow level 3. On deletion, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Chuumon, Sukamon, or Etemon its name among them to your hand, trash the rest. Trashing is great because if you hit multiple targets, like multiple Sukamons, you get to fill up the condition for KingSukamon in the trash. And then its inheritable is all turns when this Digimon would be deleted by deleting another Digimon with Sukamon its name for the field, prevent that deletion. This effect is really great, and please keep in mind the inheritable is from the field. So once you have used KingSukamon to turn your opponent into a Sukamon, swing a security with the security attack +1 effect, and you hit something that will delete you, you are able to delete your opponent's Digimon to be able to, you know, prevent the deletion, to get rid of their Digimon at the same time keeping you protection. Really good inheritable there. It's an important card for the deck. It's one of the namesakes, main key pieces in this deck. That wraps up the champions. We're moving on to our level 5 ultimates. This is basically Etemon and KingSukamon. First up is the old Etemon from BT 1.5, I want to say this one was. It costs 7 memory to hard slam, 3 memories to digivolve over a black level 4, 6000 DP. It is a blocker. On deletion, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. You may play 1 level 6 card with Etemon and its name among them without paying its memory cost. That's really cool because not only is it a blocker, which you could use to buy time for this otherwise slow deck, you could also like block something way bigger than you, just like on purpose, get deleted, get its on play effect, and then you can maybe reveal one of your MetalEtemon and play it, and then that gets its on play effect, and you kind of just keep going and expanding board. It's really nice when it high rolls. You can maybe play around with the ratios of this card if you want more blockers in your deck, but I think this is a pretty fine number for now. After that, we got Etemon, new one from booster set 11, 7 memory to hard slam, 7000 TP, 4 from a black or yellow level 4, and then special Digivolution condition, digivolve 3 from a level 4 if the name contains Sukamon. On play or when digivolving, put trash 1 card with Sukamon its name from your hand, or from this Digimon's Digivolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 TP and security attack -1. That synergizes well with KingSukamon because it turns them into a Sukamon with 3000 DP, so you could potentially remove something in combination with this guy, and if not, it just like gets you another turn by buying time with a security attack -1. It has the exact same inheritable as the Sukamon that we just saw, which is fantastic to have more options to protect yourself if this thing were to die and remove something from your opponent's field. Then we got the main boss monster that is making plays in this deck, and this is KingSukamon. He is the one turning your opponent's Digimon into Sukas and like facilitating a lot of the gameplay. It is 7 memory to hard slam, 6000 DP, 4 from a black or yellow level 4, 3 from a Sukamon, and then on play or when digivolving, if your opponent has 16 or more cards in their trash, or if you have 3 or more cards with Sukamon in their name in your trash, one of your opponent's Digimon becomes Sukamon, white, 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. If you want to know why it has that 16 or more condition, you can check out my video on references to video games in the Digimon card game, but most of the time you're just going to be aiming for 3 or more cards with Sukamon in their name in your trash, because that is way easier to do. Keep in mind this does not get rid of their effects, so this does turn them into a Sukamon, this does change their color, so if they have inheritables that rely on the name, those won't go live, but at the very least they will still have like any on-tacking effects, they will still have those. When attacking, for each other Digimon with Sukamon in its name and plays, Digimon gains security attack +1, which is great because you get to be aggressive with all the other Sukamons. You have at least one guaranteed security attack +1 from your opponent's field the turn this thing comes out if it doesn't pass turn. And then if you die during any of the security checks, you could just use the inheritable of one of the Sukamon to be able to survive for that check. Then it has the exact same inheritable again as the Sukamon, so it's really cool to be able to keep triggering that. MetalEtemon is our only level 6 here because we want to make space for options and stuff as a security control variant. He has 11,000 DP, 3 from a black or yellow level 5. On play or when digivolving, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. You may play any number of Digimon cards with Chuumon, Sukamon, or Etemon in their name, among them with a play cost of 7 or less without paying their memory cost, with a total play cost of 7 or less. So if you hit 2 names and they come up to less than 7, or exactly 7, you could play both of them. Pretty cool when you get this hit off of like your other Etemon, or if you just digivolve, you know, and hit stuff and get your field wider. It's really fantastic. You kind of need it because like you need to expand your board, and this deck is just so slow at that. So this is one of the kind of ways to patch that up at the very least. 11,000 is okay as a DP threshold. We wish it was a lot bigger, but it's what we needed in this deck. Then we move on to our options. We have quite a bit of them, as this is a bit of a security control variant. Then we have Cooties kicks as one of our options. If you have a black tamer in play, you can reduce the cost by 1. However, we won't have one in this list. 2 memory to play. Main, one of your Digimon with Nuemon, Sukamon, Naniamon, or Etemon in its name is unblockable and gains on deletion gain 3 memory until the end of your opponent's turn. So do always keep in mind that this is specifically for those names listed only, and 3 memory is pretty huge. You get to profit off of the effect after playing this, especially if you pair this with Mimi Tachikawa, which we will see later in the profile. So it's pretty cool to be able to plus on memory and continue your plays when you need to. This is also really good to play around Black or Geremon X. It punishes that guaranteed on deletion effect at the beginning of their turn for like the weakest thing. It punishes blocking them. It punishes when the Black or Geremon comes out, since it is until the end of your opponent's turn. So you can use this proactively on your turn to try and get some more memory with something that you're going to bomb into security anyways, or you can use it to play around your opponent's effects, such as Black or Geremon. Its security effect doesn't add to hand, unfortunately. Instead, it reveals the top 3 cards of your deck, and you get to play 1 Black Digimon card with a play cost of 3 or less among them without paying the cost. So it's pretty funny to get an extra like wide board off of it. Then we go on to our security control package. We have Flame Hellscythe. This thing is insane for only 6 memory. Yeah, you need both color conditions to meet to be able to play this, but that's not hard at all. Main, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP for the turn, then play 1 purple yellow Digimon card with 6,000 DP or less from your trash without paying its memory cost. So this does recycle your Sukamons, including KingSukamon, because they are yellow and they are 6,000 DP or less. They have the on-play effect, so KingSukamon will be able to do that out of trash with Flame Hellscythe. And then the 6,000 DP guarantees if you target the thing you turn into a Sukamon, it'll be deleted. So it's really cool synergy with the deck, really useful. You have Reinforcing Memory Boost, just a 1-of, because this card is super important to be able to stay into the game, because you get to draw when you're bricking and you get to stack your security, and you later get to delay it for 3 memory, which is huge. It's basically an entire extra body in this deck, since we're going to be hard standing our Sukamon champions and stuff a lot. After that is Chaos Degradation. This is 8 memory to play. Main, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the top or bottom of your opponent's security stack, and if you do, trash the top card of opponent's security stack. Fantastic removal. As far as I'm aware, I think Congo is the only thing in the entire game, as of right now in English, that stops this effect. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But the point is, it has really good removal that is going to get past a lot of boss monsters, which is why it's really important for us to max out on, or rather 3 copies of it. And a lot of other security control decks usually end up maxing out on, because like it's such good removal, and even in security it's really great too, because security effect, you may place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the top or bottom of its owner's security stack. Like, very little stuff prevents that. So out of security, that is really important to interrupt multi-security swing attacks. Well, we're getting to the end of this video, so to round up our list are our Tamers. We're starting with 4 of the Mimi Tachikawa. All turns, when a player uses an option card, you may suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory. You can use it proactively on your turn to make yourself a free Cooties kick if you have multiple of this Mimi out, or you can wait to use it on your opponent's turn to discourage or punish their use of options. It's a pretty versatile card, really great. Unfortunately, being 2 memory does make it really huge prime bait for Black or Geremon X to clear this thing off the field, so play around that accordingly. It is useful though to get those free cheap Flame Hellscythe and stuff. And finally, our memory tamer is TK Takaishi. 4 memory to play. Start of your turn, it guarantees you 3 memory to use. On play, look at your security stack, reveal 1 card in it, and add it to your hand. Then, if the card is yellow, trigger recovery +1 and shuffle your stack. This is really fantastic, because not only does it give you the memory guaranteed to make plays every turn, you are also able to unbrick with it if you get something you're missing from security. It's awesome. It's a very strong card, offers a lot of consistency while making sure you have memory to make plays, which is why it's continuously been one of the best yellow tamers. But that is going to be the list, guys. This is a really fun deck. You're basically buying time and hoping your security is set up well, and if not, you try to readjust it with TK, with reinforced memory boost and all that stuff. As you fill up your trash, as you draw into your pieces to get ready and turn stuff into Sukamons. And if not, you just try and go wide and chip away, finish off with the KingSukamon if you have security attack +1 and whatnot. There is no hybrids in this deck, so it's kind of hard to get that final swing in. You have to be very careful with how you play around it and stuff like that. But it's such a fun deck. I love decks that have like that kind of silly gimmick of messing with your opponent's cards and turning them into something goofy. Like, it's so much fun. There's a lot of Digimon from both of these lines that are not in this archetype yet, so I'm hoping this gets more continuous support as we get new sets, because I would love this deck for it to be good. It'd be so funny to be like just constantly turning your opponent's Digimon into poop in a tournament setting. But that's the video. Let me know what you guys thought of it, how you build it, because there's definitely other ways you could take it. For example, some tech choices is you could do Kari instead of Mimi Tachikawa, Tachikawa as a way to discourage swinging and punish them when they do check your security to buy more time. It's definitely a preference. I think the Mimi is what I ended up preferring just because like being able to reduce stuff for cheap and only being 2 cost makes it a lot easier to get some of your plays going, and it feels a little less bad if you only have like 1 or 2 out when it does eventually get popped by Blackwood Geremon X as opposed to the 4 of Kari. However, if you do have Kari and TK out, you know, like if that's your field, it means they can only pop 1 of them most of the time. So there's merit to that as well. Thank you to Rusty of the Australian community for helping me a lot with building this deck, and thank you everyone who had kind words about the last set of profiles I've done in this style. I've implemented a couple of changes you noticed in this video to account for some of those, so hopefully these cards were easier to read and other improvements you guys suggested. Let me know anything I could keep doing to improve the videos in the comments below. And there's also something to be said for like a Megazoo type of build where you're just like hard spamming everything, since your stuff pretty often has a lot of abilities here to float, because like your Chuumon will float, your stuff will be able to be recycled off of other stuff. So you could like, you know, even sacrifice on the rookies more for a more of a like Megazoo style thing if you want to build that way. There's tons of ways you can take it. Definitely for sure let me know what you guys thought. I had a lot of fun trying this deck out to get something ready for YouTube. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what I could do better. And until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.